Welcome to the Outside the Business Boxes podcast, where we're talking about how to ignite your business today for the future using systems for everything you do in your business to make your life, your employees' lives, and your customers' lives easier for you to ultimately enjoy your business and, of course, make more money. I'm your host, Chad Murray. Thank you for joining me again at Outside the Business Boxes podcast. I am Chad Murray, your host. And today I'm a day late on getting my podcast out this week because I was actually on vacation and forgot to record last week, one in advance to put out there. So I apologize for everybody getting it one day late. I try to be consistent and getting it out there every Tuesday morning, but I boo-booed this week, so I apologize. So what is today about? Today is about what I'm thankful for in the app world. And so it's coming in, it's a Christmas time as we're putting this episode out. If you're not listening to this at Christmas, whatever holiday's coming up, happy holiday. But right now it's Merry Christmas to you and everyone out there and your families. So I am so happy that I have the right apps to work my business, and to have the apps that I have for the money that I pay and for the power of what they do is unparalleled that I know of to anyone else in the industry. Now, to start off with here, I'm completely digital at Master Services. There is no paper almost whatsoever. I mean, other than a sticky note to do something, to put into a digital file or something for a note for somebody, then that's it. And I've even almost stopped using them because I've got the sticky note digitals on my computer. Windows has that. So I use the digital sticky notes. Sorry, the D's get me sometimes. So I'm going to kind of go over what I pay and pricing, and then I'm going to kind of go over what is it worth it to you to have apps. I went digital on the invoicing and estimating like in 2000, maybe 1999. I took Outlook Calendar and did my research. This is where I became a country dumpkin, literally country dumpkin. Not a bumpkin, a dumpkin. I was in restaurant management before I got into the chimney business and service business. I had a couple entrepreneur businesses while I was a restaurant manager after I got out of the Marine Corps. And it was just, okay. There was nothing to me except for wanting to make money with the absolutely know-how to do it. Just whatever. It was just on the fruits and labors of my legs, arms, and not much head. And so I started washing windows out of the management. Had good culture from, the Army, National Guard, Army, and then the Marine Corps. All that was good. Had good, work ethic, good ethics in general all the way around. But it's like, okay, I got into the business, and it's like, I hate when we got into, especially even the window washing business back when I was doing invoices, you'd have wet hands from washing your washing windows, and a lot of times I don't know why, but I didn't dry my hands good enough. But I dry my hands, clean my hands up, and then I would go to make the invoice out, and that wet imprint of where I was writing was all over the right side of the invoice, and I hated it. I just totally hated it. So we were using calendar, so we never had. Day one when I got in business by myself. And I believe I always get this wrong because my first daughter was born in 96 and we actually started in 98. So I get it. It's one of those things that I get completely confused on. So I would say we've been in business 25, 26 years. I have been an entrepreneur for 26 years on my own. However, the chimney business really started in 98, beginning of 98. So we went to a digital calendar day one on Outlook. And then I needed to do inspections, and I had the old Copperfield paper invoice for you who are not in in the chimney industry listening. Copperfield's a distributor of ours that gives us chimney products and stuff, and they had flyers you could purchase. You could purchase your blank invoices to handwrite on. So I took that blank invoice and I made a in the calendar, just like you can do on tabs and stuff. I made a tab on like a page 2, like you can do on like a spreadsheet. I made a page 2 tab and put the invoice. You couldn't do pictures, but you could do all the wording. And then you could put good, you could go in there and edit it if you're out in the field. And I had one of the very early forms of way before iPads, of a tablet. I couldn't even tell you, it was probably through Sprint. That's who I had, Nextel and then Sprint. And then you would go in there and edit your calendar item, and then you would do your inspection, and that's how I would do inspection. So I was pretty early on doing that, back in the 90s. And so I've been digital on that front ever since. Well, since then, I've always been a hound on trying to make things more efficient, just more efficient, more efficient. And so it came to where at one point, and it was just a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, we had like 19 apps running master services. 19. But I was paying like $2,800, maybe $3,000 in apps. And so, yeah, it was a lot of apps. Well, all the apps work good together, essentially. I mean, not perfectly, but what I'm thankful for is the few apps I have now. And one of them I'm about to share on the list is actually going away because of one of the apps we have. So to break down what does master services do for apps? So, I mean, forget about my history tomorrow. Let's talk about where am I currently at apps. I'm at $720 a month to run an almost, well, pretty much, we'll almost hit $4 million this year, a $4 million service company in 3 different major markets, $720. I'll break that down for you. KickServ, $299, which actually it's less than that because I know the owner and I've been one of the original guys. I actually only pay $149. So you take $150 off this $720. That's what I'm really paying in apps. But I'm going to use it as if you were to use it. Okay, so KickServ's $300, let's say. Monday.com, it's going away, possibly, but I'm paying $120 for that a month and that's not per user. It's $12 per user. We have 10 users on there. We don't have we just have management on there. And then I have Manula. This one is definitely going away. It is our handbook, our what do you want to call it? Our just our company manual. And so so we have all our SOPs, our everything on there. Well, our new app, Manuela is going away, is all now in Connecteam. I paid for the 50 user expert sign up for Connecteam. It's $191 a month. And of course we have Quickbooks for $80. So you add all that up, your total will even be less because you wouldn't be even paying if you don't have 50 people in your company. It's whatever a user. I think there's a minimum of how many users, and then it's like $3 a user after so many. But you wouldn't even be paying $191 if you don't have a company my size. So I mean, if you really look at this, if you never got Manuela, and my QuickBooks I said is $80, if you didn't get Manuela, and you can figure out how to do Monday.com on Connecteam, is what we're trying to do right now. I mean, you'd be under $500 a month in stuff. Now, we did not switch over to Bare Hands Pro because at the time that we were training everybody, we'd already done so much training, and I hype up, and we're going to be switching over to Bare Hands Pro this summer or this spring, but we didn't because that's when I went in the hospital and all that. We were trying to get it all up and going, so we're still using our own form, which is still good. So I'm sorry, I am wrong. There is one more app we're using. It's our inspection app, which we use it over and it's in Forms. Let me see here. Not FormStack. What is it? It's Fast Field Forms is what we use, and I'll tell you what I'm spending a month on Fast Field Forms. So we made our own form. It's really nice. It doesn't have any AI like Bare Hands Pro does, and it's a cool form, and I've got a pretty good form. I'm not gonna lie, it's a nice form, and we are paying monthly. It's per user. It's $20 per user, and you only put that on your sweeps and your estimators or slash in our case educators. So anyone that's selling gets an account in Fast Field Forms, and then management could share one for you to put it in there. So it's $20 a user, and currently we have right now we have quite a few users. Let me get in here because we have around 10 users right now. So I'm paying $200 for that. So it brings us back up to the 700, 800 mark. I totally forgot about that app and that. But so let's talk about pricing. What does the app do for you? Does it save you time? Does it save you money? Does it organize your company? That's the real idea here. And a lot of times with people, so this is the one thing I want to get out there. A lot of you guys are less than 10 trucks listening to this. And all these apps are super, super overwhelming to start. Okay? They are. They just are. But once they've started and you start nitpicking them, got them up and running, you've now just streamlined your business and everything will start going more smooth. It is I hate this word, this phrase, but it is so true. These apps are game changers for your business. I don't make a dime telling you any of these. This is where I'm a bad businessman. I should be getting, you should be telling them Chad Murray, blah, 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 sent you, but I don't. I don't get a dime for you to go over these companies. And that's okay. So last week, so let me give you a story. And I won't give names. One of my newer clients had done a Bare Hands Pro, the free version, did the free thing, the trial version. And this guy's smartest Dickens. He's like probably the fastest starter I've ever seen in the chimney business, just blowing this thing up, and he's learning as he goes, and he's going to be a really, really good sized chimney company, the fastest one to a certain point, I believe, in the industry. And he's doing everything the right way too. So I love it. But what he did do, let me take a drink of my coffee here. That's good. What he did do is he did the trial, and then, like what anyone does, and I'm very guilty of this myself, decided to not use it because, drum roll please, it costs too much money. Well, I even thought Bare Hands Pro cost too much money. And being that Mike Fazy, and I'm pretty sure I think he would think the same thing, we're like best friends. I love that dude. And anyway, he is on the opposite, Mr. California, Mike Fazy, on high pricing and what's my value of my software. And yeah, it's not cheap. I'm not gonna lie, it's not cheap. And I like the cheap app stuff, right? And here I am developing software with Stoner, my brother, Service Galaxy, that's going to replace KickServ and Service Titan out there. And here I am in my own mind forever being, I want the cheap software, and yet here I'm developing one that's probably going to be not as cheap as I'd like it, but it is what it is. So anyway, I'm talking to my client. And he's telling me it costs too much. So I actually then called up Fazy to see if I could get a little bit, what we could do to go out and get the pricing down. And Mike has held his ground. No, it's good, which is what he should do. And I hang up with Mike and be not upset, just okay, good, all right. And so I'm talking to my client, and he tells me that when he used Bare Hands Pro, he signed his biggest ticket to date, and he felt like it was the software that helped him sign that ticket on top of what he did. But he felt like the software was a major role in the guy signing the approval. So he's telling me this after I hang up with Mike Fazy. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, all right, so this guy's on Service Titan. He's made his own forms, which are terrible. and he's not using Bare Hands Pro because it costs too much. Yet he's paying for service side. Yet he just told me he just signed it before the trial was up with Bare Hands Pro. He had signed his biggest client today, and he felt like he was Bare Hands Pro's issue. So I asked the guy, I said, listen, so what do you think about if you were to pay the price for Bare Hands Pro, how many more jobs you get? You know, how many more better approvals? And the guy looked at me and was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I should definitely sign back up for Bare Hands Pro. And I'm not trying to make this a commercial for Mike, Bare Hands Pro, but you know, let's face it. What is the app's value to you in your business? I mean, let's face it. I mean, I've got my apps down to less than, let's say, $1,000. I mean, 720s are getting written down, trying to get rid of the queue and you know, and then have that. So let's just say I'm at $800 a month, but that $800 a month right now is running a $4 million business efficiently. I would honestly, for these apps, if they all tripled their price, I wouldn't even quit them. I'd pay $3,000 for these apps. That's how important they are. Like Connecteam. Everyone's heard, a lot of people have heard about it. I've talked about it on here. I did a video for Chimney World. What is Connecteam? It is everything almost in your business. It's where you can store, you have chat. You have your own little like Facebook type of in there thing where you can post likes and shares and videos, and you can do your SOPs in there. You can do your all your forums. You can't invoice and estimate out of it at this point. Maybe you can later, but right now we're not using it if it's there. If it is there, I mean, you might be able to do that there. That's what kind of app this is. It's amazing. Everyone has an account in my company, and they have their goals on there. We'll be talking about them several times a year with them to see if we've reached them and how we can do to continue doing them. And that's logged in on their portion. We have our from Google Drive. All our numbers are forecasted, or excuse me, are embedded into Connecteam, where I can see them all through Connecteam. I mean, just we can do SOP videos in there, and it's just, yeah, it is really the app to have for Slack. And by the way, you do your time clock in there. I'm not sure if you can do payroll in there. I wouldn't doubt if you can't. But we do not. We use QuickBooks Online and Bank of America for our payroll because we bank at Bank of America, so it doesn't cost us anything to do it. So, but yeah, I mean, that right there. And so then we'll switch over to Monday.com. Monday.com is our $12 a month sign up. And so we have 10 people on there, $120. And that's our task, management task board. If I want to task the management to do something, I task them to do it. They can comment, like, share. They, you know, if I ask for a comment, or I make sure everyone's read it. They've got to do it. They do the same thing back to me. I have them put their meeting notes, every meeting they have on there, and then I review them and send them back my notes on their meeting. That's how you can be an absentee owner like I am, which I'm not. When you say absentee owner, I'm very much involved in my company. I'm just not there to be involved like most people are. And so I run my coaching business, and I'm very present for that. But for masters, I'm there for the management team, and I do it through all these apps. And so it is, you know, crucial for me to have the right apps to be able to get everything across to my team to do it. And like you saw in my last few podcasts, how I'm heavily on making that a commitment to training, spending on training, losing money for training. I got to tell you, when you train everybody in these new apps and you get everybody flowing and growing and going, and they're training, having meetings every week, several at that point on the sales and the crews and the management, call center, all that, and everybody's doing their deal. The gears are lining up, and we are a money producing machine. I don't plan on getting any more apps. We plan on reassuring the apps that we have and taking a few away. Like we're going to take Manula away and possibly Monday.com away and have it all in Connecteam. I mean, one of the biggest things I think people ask me, what's your SOP for doing, or what's your SOP app? What's your inventory app? Whoa, there's a big one. Well, you can do it all in Connecteam. Yep. So you can do your inventory, quite frankly, just flat out in Google Drive, and then embed it in the Connecteam, and everyone can see it live. So whenever you make a change in Drive, which of course they could have the Drive account as well, but you could set up the right document for your inventory in there, and then broadcast it to Connecteam. Now everybody live can see it. Heck, you can even broadcast your supplier's website if they offer one, and so broadcast that in Connecteam so they can see it without even going to log in to the supplier's deal. So it's actually just came up with that idea while we were talking. And so I'll be writing that note down on a sticky note in my computer. Here we go. There we go. There. Now I have a sticky note for going in and making in Connecteam to broadcast my supplier's inventory. Now my guys will see it without having to go log in. I can just go to Connecteam and see it. There we go. So, plus there's a bunch of free apps you can use, obviously, to run your business and help you out there as well. But value. What is the value of spending money on an app? And the main thing is, again, is what does it do for you? Like I just gave you the example of spending money for Bare Hands Pro. I'm telling you, it's worth it. All these other apps like Connecteam, it is totally worth it. Now, we started Connecteam in June, and our goal for 2021 was to get to use it, use the chat, use the time clock, use it for embedding stuff from Google Drive. And then once we get to know it better and everybody's using it, now start concentrating on it. So 2022 is fine-tuning, getting all our SOPs, getting all this, as we do meetings, everyone goes to a meeting and in their Connecteam signs off on a safety meeting that they attended. And all that, by the way, in Connecteam, all that's documented. So so if you're having a meeting on safety, let's say you're doing ladder safety. So you do a ladder safety test, you go in there and you type it all in there, or you just make a video. Heck, just having someone record the video of it, right? At the end of the video, or at the down of the video on the post, you put on there people that attended the meeting, and they just hit accept. Now they got logged in to that meeting, and they accepted that they were there and did the whole meeting, and boom, now you go. That file is now in your training file. So if you ever got OSHA talked about, or came in to come to talk to you or review you, or you had a violation, you then can pull up your safety meetings and show them your meetings and who all attended them. And it's in Connecteam at all times, forever. Go make it. Here's the greatest thing I love about SOPs. You make a video on SOP, and that could just be you at your desk talking about your handbook. What is your attendance policy? What blah blah blah. I plan on going through my entire handbook and making a video for each point. And that way, or I'll make a video for the entire handbook that I pretty much read it and give my own commentary on it, and boom, they can say that they've watched it and then they've signed it, and that goes in their file. I mean, you start to see where I'm going with this. When you talk about compliance, you talk about so we're also building a training platform. You can do training in Connecteam. We're taking the already 6-week educational inspection training that we do for our inspectors / sweeps to how to inspect a chimney, and we're going to make that detailed per day on what they do with videos. And then they have to sign off on them every day that they're doing it. And then I'll see that they're doing it. And if they're not, let's face it, jump their ass to find out why they're not. But if they're in training, they're going to be doing this day by day. And it's going to give you, once you've done this once, You've got your training detailed in there. And then you give it to the next guy, or then you assign the next guy. And then you can keep making updates. And it's just a living thing as you keep making better videos, more videos. But here's the greatest thing. Once you've done it once, good or bad or ugly, doesn't matter. You did it. Then you just keep moving on. And then when you get through the cycle of, well, that sucked, I'm going to redo that. You redo one thing. But you always have it. This is how your company starts evolving. If you just sit there and go, this is too much, I'm too busy. Well, shit, you're always too busy. You're never going to have time if you don't start doing something. Now, if that requires you hiring someone to do this, then do it. It's worth it. If not, you do it on your own, then do it. But think about it like this. Let's say you went and got Connecteam, all right? And you're just going to use it to put your SOPs in there, all right? So you're going to you commit to doing SOPs. You only put yourself as, your company in there, so you're only getting charged, whatever, $100 a month, let's just say. And you put one SOP a week in there, one video of how to do something, or just your total HR. Just put in your whole handbook and your stuff, just to put in there for 1 week. All your digital paperwork put in there 1 week. Boom, that's in there. So now instead of they can print it, or they can sign it from there, and they have the option to print it, so you don't have to. So you get all that in there. So that's 1 week. Week 2, now I'm going to start verbalizing SOPs. Every week of the year, I'm going to do one SOP. Just one video. How do I mix mortar? Right? So you make a video on how you mix mortar. It's an SOP, right? What is the first thing you train a new guy? Typically, the first thing the new guy is, other than ladder safety and all that, let's just say you get out there. What's the first thing he's doing? He's mixing mortar for you, right? So do an SOP on mixing mortar. Now you never have to do it again. And then the guy out there showing the guy how to do it, because he'll still do that, he'll have a very good understanding on how to mix mortar, because when you first hired him, you had him watch the SOP video. Now you never have to make another video on how to mix mortar, unless your video sucked and you want a better one later. Doesn't matter. Here's the thing. You want to have your MVP, minimal viable product. So it's the same thing with your videos. You just want to get it out there. It does not have to be perfect. Start doing it. That's the one thing I think a lot of us as entrepreneurs, when we start our own business and we are everything in our business, we try to be as perfect as possible. So now we're going to make everything we do forever perfect. Well, guess what? You're never going to grow if everything's going to be perfect. And so I'll give you one of these dumb is real from Mark Stoner's playbook here. Dumb is real. Okay, so everybody knows I had COVID. I'm just doing a minor little shift here just to talk about something a little different. Dumb is real. So here's a dumb is real moment for me. So everybody knows I had COVID. I was in the hospital most of September. It's been a long haul recovery. Well, one of my favorite things to do is go to Colorado and go skiing. Well, I thought for sure, in October, that with the way my recovery is going, that shit, I can go to the mountains and go skiing by the week of Christmas. So I talked to my trainer and my PT, physical training lady, whatever. And she said, yeah, you can do that. You'll be able to ski, which I would. I would have been able to ski this week, but let's face it. I've been off oxygen now for 2 months at Texas, almost sea level, right? Went up in the mountains this week, got there Friday. We landed like 10:30 in the morning. By 1 o'clock, we're halfway up in the mountain, stopped for lunch. My body felt like I was in the hospital again. And we could not figure, this is so stupid, dumb is real, right? We could not figure out why I couldn't move. Like, why did my whole body so fast feel like it was achy, hurting? And so we made it to the condo, unpacked, And I was up and down stairs. We had 4 flights of stairs at our condo. It was ridiculous. Or 3 flights. No, 4. We had 4. 4 flights. And of course, the master was on the top. So I had to climb or go up there all the time. So we get done, and I'm just getting worse and worse and worse. And we're just thinking, okay, yeah, it's altitude, whatever, no big deal. But I'm like telling my wife and my kids, like, no, there's something wrong. This ain't right. I have no problem actually breathing now. So this is when when you're losing oxygen, it's not a fact of unless you've done something strenuous. It's not a fact where you're like sucking on a balloon or anything. It's not like that. So we decided to go to Walgreens or CVS, whichever it was, and bought a little oxygen sensor thing that you put on your finger, and then had them buy a couple bottles of oxygen, just for me to suck on. We got back out. Now you're supposed to have your average people in oxygen level is around 95 to 100. That's your average. And if you're working out, it might go down a little bit. And so when I crashed to go in the hospital, my oxygen was only at like 80, 81, and I went in the hospital. So they come out with a reader, they put the batteries in it, and my oxygen's at 73. Like I went to the hospital at 81. I'm at 73. I'm sorry, we hadn't bought the oxygen yet. So we went over to next door to the grocery store. They bought a few groceries, and while I stayed out in the deal, while they were in the grocery store, I couldn't get my oxygen up to even 80. So I looked up oxygen company really quick in Dillon, Colorado, found one immediately, called them up, said, man, I need oxygen in my cabin within the hour. And they're like, cool, I have it there in an hour, hour and a half. And they brought me a portable and one to go in the house. And it was the one in the house is exactly the one I had here at when I was out of the hospital. And as soon as we got on it, oxygen right up to 95. But now I'm portable oxygen, can't go skiing, can't go ice skating, can't go sledding. It's like, oh, should have gone to the beach. And so dumb is real. So why do I tell you this story in this one? Well, dumb is real. How long are you to sit there not using the right apps? When you know for damn sure if you get some of these apps for your company, it's going to help your business skyrocket. I've watched it with mine. I've watched it. I'm coaching now for 3 years. Chimney companies for 2.5. I'm telling you, I've watched every company change and upgrade and add apps that I've suggested. And I've watched every one of my companies go up at least 25% in efficiency and sales, and some of them 100 to 200%. And I'm telling you, I know it sounds like I might be bragging. I'm not. The genius of it is just my knowledge to tell you. It's not that I'm a genius. I'm not a genius. I'm an idiot. But I'm not an idiot because of my wisdom. I'm actually, let me take it back. I am still an idiot, but I have wisdom of how I got to where I am. I love being the idiot, because I like to ask questions. I like, all that. But the fact of the matter is, my curiosity, my questioning. I think different than most people. I do a lot of things different than most people. But I'm a fucking idiot. I got to tell you, and I love being that way. That's me, But when it comes to my wisdom, I got wisdom when it comes to running a business. Why? Because I've done it. I've done it bad. I've done it good. And I know everyone's done it here. I can't wait to listen to this podcast in a year from now. Because I'm sitting there telling you how great my business is, right? And how good we've come through it, how we've gone through. We've learned a bunch of things. I actually listened to a podcast in 2019 I had. And you can go back and look at it. It was in December. And I was talking about how great Masters was. And it was. That was my best year to date. At the time I recorded that 2019, I think it was this podcast, the Christmas one. I was reflecting on my business and how awesome it was. We did 3.5 million. It was awesome. That was my life back then. That 3 months later, I was losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. I lost almost $500,000 in a year and a half span. A part of that was training. So I got to stop saying I lost. Like I was on Surefire the other night, just typing. And I said I lost 200,000. I didn't lose 200,000. I spent like 80,000 in training. I lost 120. That was this year. So I lost 120 in shitty sales, but I also spent $80,000 in training with equipment. Hiring Jim Brewer. Which you haven't hired Jim Brewer, I would for your ladder training. I hired him for gas training. We bought all the equipment. I've just whatever. We've learned how to hire. I hired a hiring firm to help us how to hire. We ended up scratching them and coming up with our own hiring process, which is outstanding. Which is part of the. I'm glad I spent it because I learned a little bit from them, or the guys did as well. And so that all comes back down to, what I have done to help people out is really nothing other than the fact I've been there, I've done it, and it's your turn. You need to start doing it. It's 2022 is coming. It's going to be, in my case, better. So let me get back. Okay, so let me get back to my point. So I listened to my podcast back then, how great I was then. And then we went through the shittiest, worst year and a half business-wise at Masters than we've ever had. And that's the truth. Could not figure it out. Well, going into, let's just say September, after we had released the Kraken, as you listen to one of my other, we released all these guys, educators, to go out there and sell. Up to that point, what we had projected and how we would finish the year, we were going to be lucky to do 2.8, 2.9 million. Well, that's what we were projecting. We are just scraping 4 million, almost. I don't think we're going to hit it, but we're going to hit 2.8, 2.9, almost 2.9. We are literally, so you can imagine, so we literally, in September, we made up almost $1 million in projections in just 5 months. Now, what does that mean? Think about that. That's $1 million more business than what we had projected. So when I sit there and say we did 3.5 million in other years and we did 3.8, 3.9 this year, knowing that if we had done, let me give you an example. Sitting September 1st of 2021, if you had taken what I did in 2019, my best year, and added up what I actually did for the rest of the year and my best year ever, we would have only hit 2.8, 2.9 million. Do you see what I'm saying? We'll almost hit 4 million. And if we had just done what we did in our best year in the last 5 months, we wouldn't even hit 3 million. Barely, if we could have hit 3 million, probably less. We would have been 2.8, 2.9. And we're about to do $3.8, $3.9 million. Well, we are. We're not about to. We are. We're going to do 3.8 for sure. And we're scraping 3.9 and maybe even. That's how good. I can't even tell you the next 2 weeks how busy we are. If I go on Connecteam right now, our projections for this week, these 2 short weeks, this is crazy, y'all. Listen to this. These 2 short weeks. Actually, I could tell you. I'm just not up to my numbers right this second doing this podcast because I'm on vacation. But we're probably going to hit 3.8, a little over 3.8. We're probably not going to hit 3.9 million. But here's the deal. We literally have, in this week and next week, short weeks, our projections were $90,000 in production. Okay, 90,000. We're going to do $125,000 in production this week. And next week, we're slated to do 135 in 4 days. My best week ever in 2019, and forget about the beginning of 21 and all of 2020. It's shitty year and a half. My best production week ever was 119. If we do 119 now, even on a 4-day work week, we have had a bad week in the season. So what does that tell you when it comes to spending the money and training? And when I say release the Kraken and what we did, if you have to lose money and you can afford to figure out how to lose money because you have enough saved up or whatever, you can lose money to make money. The way to do it is find, number one, the right people. A lot of you have the wrong people in your sales sweeps division who aren't selling shit for you, and you're just comfortable with them, and they suck, and you know it. And some of you, you're listening to this, you know it, and you're my clients, and you know you need to get rid of these people. I'm sorry, you need to get rid of them. I'm telling you in a podcast, and there's not one of you, there's 10 of you I know of that need to get rid of some of your guys out that are selling for you because they ain't selling shit. And when I say selling, I mean they're inspecting properly and getting the people educated to understand that they need to do these repairs. That's what I call selling. It's not really selling. It's just being able to inspect and properly give it the right way so that people will purchase the repairs necessary. There, I said it PC correctly. All right. But when you look at what I've done, we at Masters has done, and Cody Whitwood, shout out. Yes, John Mashad, shout out. And what you guys have done for my business, our business, is we've taken what we knew best, totally ramped it up to being better, and took it in the proverbial backstab, got just crushed with that's not even the right analogy. It was a shitty one. I'm terrible at analogies. I was gonna say, I'm not even gonna say what I was gonna say. Anyway, we just took a hit, and just trusted that our training was gonna solve our problem, and it did. It did. And then the continuing weekly trainings and the weekly meetings has just made it better. Guys, I got a new guy who started literally, his name's Marty. He's on Chimney World. He has only been out in the field less than 2 months. He had a $91,000 week 2 weeks ago. Did you hear me? Yeah, I didn't stutter. The dude got $91,000 of business sold in 5 days. 5, not 6, not 4, only doing 4 inspections a day. 91, and actually it was like just shy of 92. It was 91.6, something like that. Guys, that is amazing. Now, would you guys have your Marty? Do you have your Cody? Do you need to keep doing it? And so that's exactly where we're at. We're getting the right guys. We're finding the right people. And that's where my point was. Find the right people. Then commit to training them properly. I don't care if it's 6 months, it's 6 months, 6 weeks, 6 years, 1 year. Get them out there. But here's my motto. Go get yourself in trouble. Put them out there where they understand chimneys. They understand your inspection form and get their asses on roofs. That's my opinion. And my opinion is get them certified after they've been with you 6 months to prove that they can get certified. Start training them to be certified from day one. You want to talk about an app? Quizlet. It's a perfect little, there's a bunch of chimney CSIA test questions on there that I don't know how they got on there or whatever it is, but it's a great quiz, and you just start studying that, and it helps you pass the test, I hope. I've been studying it like crazy. I love it. I'm also reading the books. I'm doing everything, and I'm also getting my entire company doing the same thing. And so it's it's a free app, Quizlet. You just go to it. And you can go online or you can download it and just, start studying, and you can find anything to study on there. So it's really cool. Well, anyway, that's my time. Honestly, guys, I'm on vacation. It was fun to talk to you guys. 2021 about the apps and, some of the stuff that have happened to me in the last week and so and last year. And, and I gotta shout out to everybody. I mean, I love this business. I love helping you. And if you're listening to this podcast, I love that you listen to my podcast. If you want to reach out to me and talk to me, it doesn't cost money to talk to me. I am free to talk to. You want to talk to me on a weekly basis and you want to have a scheduled time, that's going to cost you money. And so, and I'll give it to you. It's $1,200 a month. It's $1,200 a month. Come work with me. We'll meet 4 times a week, unlimited calls, emails, and texts. It's $1,200 a month. That's it. It's cheaper than most. It's better than most. And I'm gonna show you what I do. I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna listen. I'm not gonna tell you what to do at all. I'm gonna tell you what I do. And I'm gonna help you mold your own decisions. I'm gonna help you do your own thing. And I'm gonna help you find the right apps for you. And I'm gonna talk to you. And I'm gonna discuss things with you. And you're gonna make it. I am just the vessel to help you get where you want to go. I will guide you. I'll talk to you. You know, it's funny. I've got most of my initial chimney companies that started with me over 2 years ago are still with me. They've got all my information. There's only so many apps and systems I can give you. But what do we love doing? Well, we talk. We process. You know, we talk together. You know, it's a relationship, and we show up at a certain time every week. And then we discuss business, and we grow and learn together, and we do that. So, I mean, coaching is a little different than consulting. I mean, and I've had guys that wanted me to consult them, you know, and they only stuck around for 3 or 4 months, and they got all my systems, and they took off, and that's fine. That's great. But if you want to learn how to grow a business, continue to learn all the dumb things I've done, it's going to take more than 3 months. But it's worth its weight in gold, and I'll end up being free. You'll see. First month, I will show you how to make money to pay for me, and you'll make more money than you ever did before in your very first month. So that is my time. So let's talk about our sponsors, Bare Hands Pro. I already talked enough about them. I'd use them if you're not. They're a great inspection tool for our industry, made by people in our industry. Snap Lock, rotary system, sweep tools, and the Snap Lock camera. We personally have 6 of them. Love them. Definitely part of our process of how we've gotten better and gotten more sales. The presentation of doing that is awesome. And last but not least, Alan Rush Profits, weekly Monday morning minutes. It's $79.99 a month. You can sign up at Rush Profits over on the left. Go down, you'll see the thing to sign up for it. And we actually concentrate on every Wednesdays. Our Mondays, we go through his videos or his whatever, and talk about it in our own meetings with our sales guys, our educators. So, guys, that is now really my time. Thank you, and God bless. Merry Christmas to everybody, and we'll talk to you at the last week of the year. And by the way, footnote, I don't have my calendar on me. I am getting Mike Fazy on this podcast. He has agreed. It'll be nice to talk to another awesome businessman, Mike Fazy, on here to see the progress that he has done over the years and what he does. He's a unique individual, and upcoming, I think it's either next week or the week after, I'll have him on. So until then, guys, take care.